Hello, and thanks for joining me today. My name is Jared Hollinger. I'm with Sower Investment Partners. Our firm's based out of Omaha, Nebraska, and we focus on alternative investments structured in a variety of manners, including open and closed-end funds. I'm here today to review our two primary real estate investment verticals with you and excited to share them with you. Thanks again for joining. As is generally the case with most private real estate offerings, a disclaimer is always part of the presentation. In this case, I'll remind you that everything we're discussing today are all representations, not guarantees, and I advise you to do your own due diligence, and I'm always happy to be there, and our team is always happy to be there in support of that due diligence. Now, in today's presentation, this is about getting to know each other, and so we'll start the presentation and go through a little company history, give an overview of our fund structures and what we focus on, and then give a slight review over the two primary real estate verticals that we operate in, U.S. farmland and retail commercial real estate. Let me start off by giving an overview of Sower. We're an entrepreneur-led investment firm based in Omaha, Nebraska, with over 20 years of experience driving investment returns for real estate-related investments. We believe strongly in making sure that our firm's capital is invested alongside that of our investors, and in fact, in many of our offerings, we are the largest limited partner alongside our other limited partners. In addition to that, we believe strongly in alternative investments as a tool to drive returns for our portfolio and yours. The investments we're going to talk about today are focused on cash flow and value appreciation. We believe strongly in ensuring that we're focused on annual cash flow and that is a key component of the return that we're driving. And lastly, we believe in making sure that our investment verticals are staffed and our partners, our internal partners, are subject matter experts in the space that we're investing in. And so that's the case in both Sower Farmland and Sower Commercial, as we'll discuss. Again, over 20 years of experience with over $500 million in current assets under management, with over $1 billion in transaction volume to date. With over 20 years of experience, we've invested in many types of real estate over the years. We started in 2001 with a fund focused on distressed real estate, then built a fund focused on single-family homes, featuring over 400 single-family homes in the portfolio at its peak. Then we moved on to tax receivables and securities, in which we built a portfolio of over $100 million in assets. In 2017, we started with Sower Commercial, which is one of the verticals we'll talk about today, in which we focus on retail commercial real estate throughout the Midwest and the nation. And then in 2020, we welcomed our farmland vertical, in which we focus on U.S. farmland that now reaches $115 million in size. And lastly, we're excited to launch in 2024 the new Sower Longview Fund 2, which is an extension of a previous fund that focuses on open air commercial. We're a team of about 45 people in total in Omaha, Nebraska, as I mentioned, and we're excited to dive into a little more detail. Our two primary real estate verticals are Sower Farmland and Sower Commercial. Within these verticals, we sponsor funds and offerings of open-ended nature, separately managed accounts, co-investments, 721 exchanges, closed-end funds, and syndications. Now, I want to take a minute and review something that we believe strongly in, and that is open-ended investment funds. And both of our primary real estate verticals feature funds of this nature. There's a big difference between an open-ended fund and a closed-end fund or syndication that some of you may be used to. In an open-ended fund structure, there are quarterly remittances to new capital. It's an open-ended evergreen fund, and that simply means that new capital can be admitted quarter after quarter as investors desire. In addition to that, the assets are remarked every quarter and the value of the underlying units in the fund are also remarked. Lastly, quarterly distributions are made based on the operating cash flows. Now, an open-ended fund like this provides diversified distribution and diversification of risk. With an open-ended fund structure, that does take some additional governance, and we're proud to be partnered with UMB Fund Services, who's a nationwide provider of fund administrative services for open-ended, closed-ended funds, and others as well. In addition to that, both of our verticals rely heavily on our trusted execution partners. In the case of our farmland fund, Farmers National Company, the largest farm manager and broker in the U.S., serves as our operating partner. And in our commercial vertical, for over 14 years, we've partnered with Access Commercial, a full-service real estate firm based out of Omaha, Nebraska, that has experience in over 40 markets nationwide. I'm going to now turn my attention to Sower Farmland. Again, this vertical was founded in 2020 with the launch of its first fund and is supported by a team of approximately 10 in our Omaha office. Our Sower Farmland Fund is structured as an open-ended evergreen fund, as we discussed previously. There's an advantage in investing in farmland through a fund in that it's a very difficult asset to invest in directly. In order to invest in farmland, it requires a significant capital investment. It's very difficult to get diversity, and direct oversight is often required. Whereas in our fund structure and in our structure, there's a low minimum investment. The access to management team is nationwide, and we're able to provide ongoing quarterly distributions based on the underlying farm's performance. We believe farmland has some very unique investment attributes, including a very low correlation to other types of investments, diversification within those investments, and returns that are similar or higher in some cases than stocks and bonds without the volatility. A lot of room for growth, and the natural nature of farmland and its attributes are a guard against inflation. Farmland investments overall have had historically solid returns, with gross returns over 11% annually for the last 30 to 40 years. There's been very low correlation to other investments and a very low volatility on those returns. We're proud that our farmland portfolio now almost exceeds $120 million in assets under management. That consists of 18 assets, almost 18,000 acres over 7 states, with historical returns exceeding 9%. Overall fund targets are 9 to 11% over the long term. I'm going to now turn my attention to our Sower Commercial investment vertical. We first started Sower Commercial in 2012 with project syndications that were largely funded through internal capital. We then launched our first fund in 2016 and 17. The Sower Commercial team is supported by a team of about 7 in our Omaha office, and largely supported in addition to that by a team of over 50 at Access Commercial, also based in Omaha, Nebraska. Our Sower Commercial team is largely focused on open air retail commercial assets. An open air asset basically is a 100,000 square foot, give or take, structure with main thoroughfare exposure that can accommodate large and small box tenants to serve the local community. We believe in many cases that these assets provide an extreme opportunity in today's market and the current dynamics. I'll go into that here now. As I said, our commercial team is largely focused on open air retail assets. We believe the current market dynamic provides for a significant opportunity for upside potential. There's limited supply in these assets in many markets, including the secondary and tertiary markets that our team focuses on. This lack of supply has been producing rent pressure that results in tenants paying significantly higher rent than current in-place rents. There's an opportunity to acquire properties far below their current replacement cost and with current rents in place that are far below replacement rents. And in addition to that, with the development experience that our team brings to the table, we stand to add additional value through site revisions and reconfigurations of the projects. Now, I mentioned the opportunity in open air retail assets largely being driven by a lack of supply driving prices upward. This presents an opportunity to invest into and with a tremendous margin of safety. This chart here on this slide helps to explain how that supply and pricing pressure has developed. In many markets, the supply on open air retail centers has hit all-time lows, meaning very few vacancies are available in the market. All the while, many anchored retail tenants are looking to expand their footprint and their market share and finding no such opportunities that exist. Alongside that, construction costs have elevated to all-time highs. With construction costs being what they are, that necessarily requires rents on new construction to be significantly higher than existing. That means that our strategy of identifying existing properties with existing cash flows presents an opportunity to exchange tenants and upgrade rents, thereby driving net operating income up significantly. Now, I mentioned that Sower Commercial started in 2012 with our first offerings, and in 2016 assembled its first fund. To date, we've done projects and have had exposure throughout our partners throughout the US, and today have over 40 active projects within our funds and our syndications, with over 200 lifetime projects under our belt. In addition, the Sower Commercial team currently manages assets of over $300 million and targets a return of 13% or better on open air retail centers. Thanks for tuning in and learning about Sower Investment Partners. If you'd like to learn anything else about our firm, our offerings, our team, or just generally have a chat about investments, I'm always excited to do so. My contact information is here to the right. You can email me at jhollinger@sower.com, or if you go to sower.com website, you'll see a contact form for our investor relations team, and we're happy to share any additional information around our firm and our assets. Thanks again, and I'll look forward to hearing from you.